The YB can now exclusively and proprietarily report Anthony, the pay-per-view King Anthony, the Lord of the Numbers, has posted up another pay-per-view record. That's what we do know. UK pay-per-view record shut down. D-U-N-G, dung. Yeah, that's what did happen. Not only did he issue a stellar, a world record-breaking boxing lesson to the, my speed, my movement, where were the speed? Yeah, never mind speed, never mind movement, yeah, never mind combinations. How about schooling lesson? How about getting schooled? How about boxing lesson? Yeah, that's what you should have been saying. That's what you did get. Good lesson. I hope you feel, sometimes, when you go to school, your brain kind of feels tired. I hope Andy Ruiz don't feel too mentally tired after the lesson he just got after the lesson he was guided through it. And to be fair to AJ, I did notice in the fight, AJ did kind of guide him through the fight. Proper gave him, like, sometimes in boxing, people don't really appreciate a good boxing lesson. The way AJ did Ruiz, he nurtured him through the fight, didn't he? He nurtured him through, schooled him through, made sure by the end of the fight, bottom line is, by the end of the 12 rounds, Andy Ruiz could not put his hand on his heart and say Anthony Joshua was a bad teacher, could he? Let's be real now. After 12 rounds of that boxing lesson, when Andy Ruiz went home and laid on his pillow, he could make all the excuses in the world, but one thing he couldn't do is say that Anthony Joshua was not a very good teacher. Yeah? An excellent teacher. He taught him so many things he didn't know about boxing last night. That's what he can do. I didn't really train. I don't know about all them goofy excuses. What we do know is, you got schooled. You got a good lesson. You got a lesson in boxing. That's what you did get. Anyway, back to the topic. Anthony Joshua has shut down the pay-per-view numbers in the UK. However, I'm a bit confused, I'll be honest. Eddie Hearn said they set a record, but I thought the record was 1.2, if I'm honest. I thought Povetkin did 1 million, and that was low. I'm sure, quote me if I'm wrong, I'm sure AJ versus Parker did the most, I think. Was it most? I think AJ versus Parker did 1.8, and then AJ versus Vlad did like 1.6, or maybe I've got it the wrong way round. Either way, I'm sure the record were 1.2. Huh? But maybe Eddie Hearn did say, to be fair, these were Coogan's guesses. Coogan guessed 1.2, and Eddie Hearn said he wasn't allowed to give anything away. So he said it's a close guess, could have been more. You're around the mark, could be more. So that's the problem. So that I think, I don't know what, it's the problem with Coogan, you see. He's got these part-time people. If Coogan uses his brain, Eddie Hearn told you it set the record. Why didn't you say 2 million? Why would you go in with 1.2 for? That's not even a record, you muppet. It's weird, man. Know your sport. If you're going to be in the sport, know it. A little bit, at least. Yeah? Jesus. Because I think what's happened is, Eddie Hearn said, like I just explained, he said that I can't make any comment on it. So, when Coogan comes up with 1.2, he couldn't say, that's not even the record. He kind of just sat there. And that's why I think Hearn said, you're around the mark, could be more. AKA, it was a lot more, because it's not the record. Dopey ass dudes. Anyway, anyone out there who does have a bit of IQ, who isn't goofy like Coogan, please ask Eddie Hearn, was it over 2? Because if it's over 2, we know it's shut down. I know for a fact 1.2 is not the record, not even close to the record. Where has Coogan been? He's too busy counting his views, counting his ad revenue, rather than knowing a little bit. You don't have to know a lot. I'm not being funny. Knowing what AJ's pay-per-view records are isn't really a massive hard thing to do, is it? The level of, it's such a low bar. Rather than being goofy on the camera, Coogan trying to be all in the videos, yeah? Know a little bit, yeah? So you can add a little bit of value to the viewers. Dude all in the camera, goofy, saying all these goofy little phrases. I don't know, people find them funny, I don't. I think it's irritating, but still. Come in and ask some decent questions, so we get some real information. 1.2. What's that? Anyway, I don't know what I'm getting riled up for, but it is frustrating, because I like information, I like numbers, and this 1.2 don't really help no one, in my opinion. That's not the record, is it? Let's be real now. Maybe it is, maybe I'll be the one getting it wrong. but I'm pretty sure this is how I know things to be. Povetkin was around, I think Povetkin was around 900k, 900 to a million, I think Povetkin was. Then you've got AJ versus Takam. I think that was another one around 900k. And then you got the two big ones with Parker and Vlad. They were like 1.5 to 1.7. That's what I remember it being. I don't remember 1.2. No, that's not it. Because the Povetkin fights were a real pullback. And think about that, makes sense. Think about it. If Povetkin's 900k, there's no way Vlad is only another 200k more. Because this AJ versus Ruiz fight set the record. So for Vlad to be 1. No, there's no way. Vlad ain't 1.1. Vlad was 1.6, 1.5. Anyway, quick video. This just goes to show, and I actually said that how it's worked out off of that performance. By the way, those of you, let me shut down some rumours now, because I said myself, I've done some videos talking about, was this a financial fix? Was this a financial setup where Eddie Hearn and AJ kind of planned that, based on the fact that Fury and Wilder didn't want no problems with AJ, maybe Eddie Hearn and AJ have planned, like, you know what, how can we create some value? How can we create a huge fight without the big guys, because they don't want to fight? And as it's turned out, this AJ versus Ruiz fight is more than twice as big as the Wilder fight was. Simple as that. More than twice as big. So, or from AJ's point of view, at least. He got double the money he would have got from the Wilder fight. Simple as that. So, with that in mind, people were speculating, alright, is it a big setup? In my opinion, after seeing that fight, I don't think it was a setup. A setup would have, for me to have been confident the fight was set up, I would have had to have seen AJ go in there and ball him over in 2 or 3 rounds. That would have proved to me that it was a complete sham. But the fact he went in there and was very cautious, that tells me that it was a serious fight the first time. Which kind of makes sense. I didn't think that, whilst I was probably, in terms of percentage-wise, I was probably 10 to 20% sure that it was a fix kind of thing. But that was only because things have not been explained. But even so, I wasn't massively sure. Obviously, I was only 10% sure it was a fix anyway, but that 10% was even more unlikely, because I never really thought that AJ would trade his 0 no matter what, even though I don't think AJ would have ever traded his 0 for big money anyway, so it was kind of just one of them ones. But there was some interesting evidence when he came out after the fight saying, oh yeah, well, it's good for the networks and whatnot. Anyway, listen, going forward, this has been the best thing for AJ on a number of fronts. Number one, from a boxing point of view, I think AJ won't lose again now. I'm going out on a limb. Other goofy people like Hatman saying, oh yeah, they're all going to lose again. Fury will lose again. Or Fury will lose. In fact, they've both already lost, if truth be known. Yeah, Wilder and Fury have already lost. They've got a draw. That is as good as a loss. I'm sorry. In my book, a draw is as good as a loss. If AJ gets a draw in a fight, for me, it's a loss, because you weren't better on that day. You either win or you lose. There ain't no draw, in my opinion. You either won it. Yes, that's in my mind, honestly. You either win or you lose. And if you don't win, you've lost. Wilder and Fury both lost that night. On that night, both men were not the best man. Therefore, they were losers. Bottom line on that one. But as I was saying, this lesson now, in my opinion, technically speaking, AJ, psychologically, is the business. He's miles above Wilder, miles above Fury. Wilder don't dare fight no one, and Fury, I'm not being funny, he's ready to break. Yeah, and if any little bit of controversy, oh, the fans didn't suck me off after my win against Vlad, oh, I'm going to go off the rails now for 4 years. He's mentally weak, that's it. Now don't get me wrong, I am also mentally weak. I can look at my own life, I am mentally weak, 1,000,000%. That said, so is Fury, yeah? I know, weak-minded people know other weak-minded people. Fury weak, YB weak, no problem admitting that. That's the facts no matter. AJ is another class. Wilder is another one. Weak-minded. He likes to talk good crack, but is he fighting anyone? No. Is he risking anything? No. So he's weak-minded. So that's the first thing that this loss has proved. He's the real business. To come out there, as he did, and stunt all over, just stunted from the very start. And so that's the first thing, the mentally part. Technically speaking, the fact he's gone away and proved he can do something that no one thought he could do. I got to be honest, I didn't even think he could do that. I was saying about how he's fast twitch and that. AJ's proved he's the whole lot. He can do marathon running and Mike Tyson inside fighting Usain Bolt style. He can do it all, literally. So what I'm saying is that after that loss has proved his mindset, proved his ability, and also the loss has got him in that mood where he wants to learn now. Like he was getting a bit. He said himself he was getting complacent. That loss is unlocked that part of his experience in life. When you go through life, there's little levels you have to unlock. Taking a loss and like realizing that you can't ever get complacent. It's one of them ones. No one really. Everyone has to go through. You have to almost lose to realize that you can't lack. Because when you're winning, it's very hard. When you're winning, it's very hard to want to do more in training. Not more, but want to do things differently. Because you think, why change it? It's winning. See what I mean? But once you lose, you can then start looking at things, looking at holes to patch. When you're winning, but making certain mistakes, you think, well, I'm winning. See what I mean? You have to lose to actually start looking at things. So that's now he's lost once. I don't think he'll make them. I don't think he'll have to lose again. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be one of them guys like Andy Ruiz who wins one fight and then goes back to his old ways of sitting on the couch and being blobby. But the last thing that this loss has done is, financially speaking, it's had all of the training and all of the performance benefits, but also potentially most importantly the financial side. This loss, as I've just talked about, the biggest pay-per-view fight in UK boxing history and massive numbers in the US as well. The financial side was never. If he'd have beat Ruiz on June 1st, what would he be doing now? Fighting who? Usyk and doing probably 400,000 pay-per-views. And the great thing was, over that period, the last year or so, whilst AJ hasn't been able to get any big fights, like who's he been fighting? Povetkin and all the Europeans who ain't got no name. His numbers have been like kind of ticking. They've been kind of stable and neutral, because that's how it works. You can't build numbers when you're fighting a load of people no one knows. So they were kind of getting stale. This is now, that loss has reinvigorated everyone. Got everyone on the tip of their toes now. And that's one thing I will say to AJ, in my opinion. In my opinion, he's got the attention back now. And I think he needs to roll with this in as much as he needs to now get back on the KO run, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, it's financially speaking, if he wants to be the biggest entity possible, he needs to go back to KOs. Not go back to KOs, but break people down, essentially. You don't even need to stop people, but what you need to do is try, at least show that you're trying to finish the fight. Whether or not you get the stoppage is irrelevant. What the fans want to see is a man go in there and number one, give it his all, and number two, show that you want to finish the fight. Not just go in there. And the reason a lot of fans didn't really like Floyd Mayweather was the fact that he goes in there and Floyd Mayweather never gave it his all. It was always in gear one. People want to see people go in there and look for the stoppage. Whether or not you get it is kind of irrelevant. If you go in there and you're jabbing someone, and you're proper jabbing someone up and bashing people's head in with a jab, that's good enough. See what I mean? You don't have to go in there and just swing, but you have to show that you're looking for the stoppage. I think that's what will take. I think that's what will keep AJ's numbers going up, and also get him that all-time great prestige. I mean, you can get the all-time great prestige on the back foot anyway, but still, to get that ultimate prestige level. And I'm not being funny, at this level of heavyweights, there's no reason why you can't stop them all. Usyk, too small. Pulev, there's no reason that AJ can't go in there and bash Pulev and Usyk all around the place. Usyk too small, and Pulev's just a heavy bag, in my opinion. Absolutely, there's no way Usyk or Pulev can hurt AJ, in my opinion. So that's what I think these next two fights, he should prove a point now and knock them both spark out. No, it doesn't have to be quickly. I'm just saying, within 12 rounds, they both need to be stopped, in my opinion. That will keep the numbers going up and up and up, and the prestige. And that will also put the fear of God into Wilder and Fury.